There are trade rumors surrounding the Houston Texans, specifically the tight end room now, with a lot of players going to get some playing time. You got Brevin Jordan coming back from injury, Cade Stover in his second season, more of a blocker, but still a big body who you can target. Irv Smith, they just re-signed. Luke Lachey, they just drafted. So a lot to get to, and obviously I feel like a move is coming shortly, but it depends on what the specific move is. Now, if you guys are new to Texans Digest, 88% of you are not subscribed. Appreciate all the support on the videos. You guys have been going crazy. But just comment down below your thoughts on just this whole situation in general, because there's now an article saying that Dalton Schultz could potentially get traded, and I don't mind it. He's on one of the last years of his deal. He's up in 2026. So, again, he's getting a decent amount of money if you're looking at his contract right here. So, again, 2026, he's up. A $14 million cap hit over the next few years. He's 28 years old. Again, I'm not too sure if you want to invest that for somebody who's probably going to be on the team. He's not terrible. He's solid. He can get the job done. But you're paying somebody $14 million a season. I don't agree with that. Again, if you cut him now, that's probably not going to look the best, because you're gonna eat up $16 million in dead money. That's why if you trade him, it's that much better of a deal. Now, we just saw George Pickens get traded to the Cowboys, so don't rule anything out this late in the offseason. I know it could be like, this late in the offseason, I don't necessarily see a potential trade happening. I don't disagree. But Schultz last year, 61 overall PFF grade, didn't really do that much in terms of the 50 catches, 500 yards, averaging 10 yards a catch. Again, just solid. He's nothing crazy. He's logged between 10 and 11 yards a catch, and now you have guys coming back. So I'm not saying get rid of Schultz, but it's definitely a good idea to explore your options, especially when you're looking at what does this tight end room look like for the future. So that's kind of the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, is the contract Schultz is on and getting rid of that. Because if you're looking at trading him after June 1st, that's a lot of cap space you could free up. $11.5 million in cap space. And again, this isn't all just cap space. The Texans have $7 million in cap space. If they wanted to get rid of Schultz, they could easily get rid of him. They would have to eat up a lot of money, and that's probably the reason they don't want to do that. But the whole thing is here, the Texans have a lot of tight ends. So when you have that much to look forward to in Schultz, Brevin Jordan, Cade Stover, Irv Smith, Luke Lachey, there are so many guys, and it's almost like you can't have 5 tight ends if somebody's going to get cut, and it's just, who is it going to be? I believe it's Irv Smith Jr. You kind of just re-signed him as a whatever kind of piece, and then you drafted Lachey, which I don't think you let him go because you just drafted him. But it does make sense to consider trading Dalton Schultz, and when you're looking at the contract, it's, again, not the worst option. But I'm thinking about this for the Texans, and honestly, you might as well just keep him for this season. He's not hurting anybody. It's no harm, no foul, really. I'm not expecting the Texans to do anything special this offseason in terms of, the offseason's over, but I'm saying any more changes, right? There's a high likelihood that they just go into training camp, be the team that they're supposed to be, get their system ready on offense specifically, because Nick Caley is trying to figure out what you can do. Honestly, with the amount of tight ends they have, you're probably expecting a 2 tight end system. So I like the idea Sports Illustrated has here with trading Schultz. It's not necessarily going to happen because this team needs every tight end that it can get. I like the idea with, you have Stover as the right tight end, you have Schultz as the left tight end, so you have 2 tight ends in. One can block, one can go out for a pass. So it really just depends on what Nick Caley and the Texans offense want to do this season, because you're creating a whole different dynamic. And when you're bringing in so many new tight ends, obviously it's probably for the future, considering Lachey was drafted in the 7th round. We'll see what he's got. Brevin Jordan, a younger guy coming off a torn ACL, so that's tough. Cade Stover, although he didn't play much in the receiving game last year, he's a valuable asset in the pass game. Again, he can catch the ball. He's a big target for Stroud. I would much rather Stover on a block and release route, because although the article that said Stover should get cut, and the fact that he wasn't that great in the receiving game, we didn't use him in the receiving game. He was a run blocker. That was primarily his job, was to do good things as a run blocker. Schultz, he's had his fair share of problems in terms of how he can block. But yes, trading Schultz does make the most sense in terms of the 2 years left on his contract. But again, the only idea I have to keep Schultz is to keep the tight end room together. Schultz is the veteran. He's supposed to teach up the younger guys. Not that Brevin Jordan isn't a veteran, not that, everyone else, or Smith is considered a veteran, but this is a guy who's been in the system for the past few years. Not that Brevin Jordan has. Again, everyone's been there the same amount of time with the team, but it's just a matter of coaching people up. And I think Schultz has that veteran leadership to where he may be getting paid a decent amount of money, but after this season, you can determine whether you want to let him go or not, considering you can probably release him after this season and save $11.5 million in cap space, which is probably what the Texans are going to do. There's no reason to really get rid of Schultz here. So you have a lot of tight ends you can go with, and again, I'm not going to say it doesn't make the worst sense in the world. I don't know what I'm saying, but Schultz, it wouldn't be the worst idea to trade him, considering the younger guns you have in Brevin Jordan, Luke Lachey, or Lachey, apologies, and Cade Stover. So, again, looking at what the future is for the Texans tight end room, it seems like they have 5 tight ends. They're probably going to get rid of one. But it also depends on what the offense is going to look like in terms of Nick Caley in this system. Because if you're going to be a run-heavy system and you're going to have 2 tight ends in, you're going to need tight ends that can block. Cade Stover can block. So that's the thing. Stover's probably the best blocker tight end on the team. Outside, we'll see what Lachey can do in this rookie season, but I feel like everyone's going to rotate in pretty well. There's going to be guys that don't play, obviously. Irv Smith has probably used his depth. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut. Lachey's probably just going to be a backup to the team. But again, that depth is always a good thing at the tight end position, especially if you're going to go 2 tight end set and you're going to have a run-heavy system. So you're looking at a very, very deep tight end room for the Texans, and that's kind of what the reason is for this article, saying, hey, they should probably trade Schultz because they have so many tight ends, and they have a few guys, young guys that can step up. Brevin Jordan, I love the year where he started for most of the season, played 14 games that rookie season, and he was incredible, but again, more known as a receiving tight end than a blocking tight end. He could still block, but again, this is a tough situation the Texans are in, considering Schultz's contract, but the season is almost here. You might as well just leave him. He's a veteran. He does his job fine. He definitely doesn't deserve to get paid $14 million in the cap hit, but there's nothing really you can do there. You're going to have to just eat what you can and move on. At the end of the day, this is a Texans team that had multiple players over the $20 million cap hit, so honestly, Nick Caserio did a great job. He made it work. He drafted guys to do their job. So you're looking at Dalton Schultz. He's definitely a solid asset. So I'm not really too sure what the Texans offense is going to look like. I'm assuming it's going to look somewhat like the Rams in terms of how they ran that offense, with a lot of motion with Christian Kirk, with a lot of motion like the Cooper Kupp system, the Puka Nacua. So again, Jaden Higgins is not necessarily Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. So I don't know what the Texans are trying to cook up with their offense. It definitely is a little surprising to me in terms of what are they trying to do here. But it looks to me like they're trying to go run heavy system, multiple tight ends, block and release, a bunch of bootlegs, and just move the offense down the field methodically. And that's what CJ Stroud is born to do, is play conservative, hit the open guy in the flat, hit the open guy middle of the field, go throughout your progressions, go throughout your levels of the field in terms of your play action. So I think play action is going to be heavily utilized. It's going to be run, play action, run. I mean, probably some RPOs. Expect the Rams offense is what I'm looking for. And in order to do that, I think you need Schultz. I would say you would need Brevin Jordan, you would need Irv Smith, you would need Cade Stover, and you probably need the guy you just drafted in Luke Lachey. So again, don't know what to expect, but this is a lot. So Dalton Schultz, a potential trade candidate for the Texans. I don't hate it, but at this point in the season, you're getting ready to start the 2025 year. So at this point, you might as well keep Schultz, see what he's got left. I know he's 28, going to be 29. He's got 2 years left on his deal. It really isn't that big a deal if you wait at the end of this offseason to release him and go draft or sign a new tight end. So there's the video for today. Dalton Schultz, potential trade candidate Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Dalton Schultz and what the Texans tight end room is going to do, because this offense is going to look a lot different, especially with a new offensive coordinator. So a lot to do for the Texans this offseason, but a lot of fun. Can't wait for the season. And let me know your thoughts as always. Appreciate all the support on the videos. And 88% of you not subscribed once again. So hit that sub button if you want to see all the latest Texans news. But it's been Mike Zanetti, Texans Digest. We'll see you in the next video.